So now we've seen a draft. We know kind of what teams are going to look like a little bit this season. I wanted to do, there's a list here of Super Bowl contenders and their biggest flaws, and if you think they can overcome their single biggest flaw.
All right, yeah,
Okay.
I'll play. But as long as we're not breaking down OTAs.
We're not breaking down OTAs. I found a fun list. I figured that's better than who's there.
Fine.
Who's not.
Doug and Scott were all over the OTAs. Gator was giving a scouting report on some Canadian Football League guy. I'm going, all right, well, you do you.
Let's start in the division. Green Bay, shallow cornerback depth fails to compensate for injuries.
I think their defense as a whole is a huge question mark. I don't care how many players you draft high. It never performs. Name the last time the Packer defense came up with a big stop. So, Kenny, it's fair, but I think they have the X factor. They have a burgeoning superstar at quarterback.
So you're saying the Packers are going to have to be one of those teams that just, they got to outscore you.
Yeah.
They're not like the Ravens where it seems like if you can score 21 points, the Ravens win every game. Packers probably going to have to put up at least 29, 30 points.
You and your numbers. I don't know, Rico. I can just tell you if Love has the ball last, you're probably losing. 78.6 gigawatts. I don't know.
Sorry. You're Mr. Analytics guy.
Here's the analytics. They have a superstar quarterback. For me, I think they can overcome that. Yes.
Okay, so Dallas, which I don't even know why they're on this list.
The
It's supposed
answer is
to be
no. Not a Super Bowl contender.
Not a Super Bowl, so we can't even get to the flaw. They have no ground attack to balance out Dak.
Do you agree? Very true to me.
Yeah, I mean, they just find ways to lose all the time, and they have an annoying fan base. You know what they are? They're the Knicks playing football.
We'll take that.
And this one is Houston. Poor short yardage run defense is Achilles' heel in close games.
Yeah, I'll disagree. Okay, fine, if that's the weakness, but can they overcome it? Yes. All-world QB, crazy offense. And you know what they do have defensively? Difference makers. And whether that's a Will Anderson, a Christian Harris, they got the freaks.
So you're saying they can't stop the run, or they?
Yeah.
No, I mean, because guys are going to get better. So from year one to year two, yeah, they can overcome.
And we touched upon this one a little bit last week, but Philly losing Jason Kelce, how badly that affects their offense.
I don't think they can overcome that or the fact that their coach might be hated by everybody. Your microphone is off again. What happens?
I think they should be able to overcome that. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be this easy thing to do, but with the rest of the offensive line there, if they can find just a good center, they can keep this party going.
So the next one is Cincinnati being kind of a one-trick pony offensively, resulting in predictable game plans.
No, disagree. Loaded across the board, elite-level quarterback, just a dead game winner. Okay, you could say, fine, that's the weakness. You ask, can they overcome it? Yes.
So you're saying the one-trick pony is they just throw the ball? They're playing
they
7 on 7?
in the air, yep.
No, they should be able to. They can run the ball. They have to. In that division, the way it gets cold in Cincinnati, you have to be able to run the ball.
The next one here, the Bills. Josh Allen self-destructs without a lead wide receiver.
Yes, agree with your assessment and agree that they cannot overcome it. Woo! Who needs a check down? We're in Vegas.
Yeah, because they don't know if they need to really invest and go get a wide receiver, or can we do it on the cheap the way Mahomes is doing it? But you're half wet. You got to decide. Okay, we're going to go all in. We're going to bring in this superstar, or we're going to go out and really draft. And they're hoping that Keon Coleman is going to be the next great superstar.
That brings up the question, too, are they even a Super Bowl contender right now after losing all they lost in the offseason? I don't know if they belong on this list.
They weren't a Super Bowl contender with me last year, and I don't think that they gotten any closer. As a matter of fact, I think that their window is pretty much closed.
I'm pretty sure Rico just patted himself on the back. Second time this show. It's impressive. There it is. Self-bell ring.
I'm going to go ahead and guess you're going to say that this is not something they can overcome, Lamar's lack of an offensive line.
Or the fact he sucks. How about that? How about that?
It's not the fact that it's a lack of an offensive line. It's the fact of what you saw Kansas City do. Okay, Lamar beat us. Stand in the pocket, make the throws, and beat us. We're not going to let you run.
Essentially, Kenny, look up a famous player named Dexter Manley. He was illiterate. That's Lamar reading a defense. You have Dexter Manley at quarterback. He can't read a defense and make on-time, accurate throws. You could throw a flag, and we've just reviewed it. The play stands as called.
Poor Dexter's walking out to his car, just took a stray from nowhere.
Rico, the guy was in the NFL. He couldn't read.
Mike's in the grassy knoll right now.
We had academic questions. I'm saying that Spagnola's game plan is the most laughable thing of all if a quarterback's any good. We want you to stand in the pocket all day, read defense, make throws. Help me, I'm poor. Where are all my Lamar haters? All the people who get mad at me about Lamar. How many years I got to be right about this guy?
Well, it's funny because we talk about here when it comes to golf, like we want some mobility. For there, it's okay. Lamar, make the big time throw in the fourth quarter. We know you can run, but we're going to limit that. And and I'm not going to say they're going to make it easy for you, but you're going to have opportunities if you have the receivers. You get the ball on time, you could beat teams. He just shows that he hasn't been able to do that lately.
Let's go out to the privileged paradise of San Francisco. Offense crumbles due to unreliable depth behind Trent Williams.
Privileged paradise. Fantastic.
No, I'm going to say that they can overcome that. They drafted some people. They went out and got some folks for the offensive line. They'll be okay offensive line-wise.
Michael?
I think the only thing they couldn't overcome is if Trent Williams gets hurt. I don't like the rest of the O-line. I think they're just people. They're not terrible. They're not difference makers. If Big Trent gets hurt, that's the difference. Because then that offensive line just becomes below average to average. So that's a more specific thing. I'm with Rico, though. They can overcome.
Right. But see, the reason why I say they can overcome it, if you can remember, turn around, hand it off to 23, and just let him do his thing. Now, I know they forgot to do that in the Super Bowl, but give the ball to McCaffrey, and he's one of those backs, Kenny, that he just needs a little bit of a crease.
And last year we got the Kansas City Chiefs at saying Patrick Mahomes facing too much pocket pressure.
They can overcome whatever they want because Patrick Mahomes is not human. Full stop. I quit. I just give up.
No, I do wonder how many more times can he pull the rabbit out of the hat? And I don't know, Kenny. I think that I'm not going to say like Buffalo, they can't, but it's getting a little more difficult because people are starting to see, okay, in order to beat the Chiefs, you need this. Now, granted, Mahomes can cover up a lot of things, but the Chiefs didn't look like the Chiefs last year, that dominant team. Yes, they won the Super Bowl, but they didn't look like, man, you have no shot at beating this team.
The Lions, if you were wondering, was their intermediate pass defense. They don't have a coverage linebacker that can do the job well, and that's going to be the thing they can't overcome.
I think I worry a little bit more as they only have one established corner. Obviously, Carlton Davis has been hurt. 16 games missed last 3 years, no less than 4 each year. When you lose Carlton Davis, or if you lose him, you are asking rookies to not only play, but not only start, but be CB1. Mm-hmm. I would say that's a bigger fear for me than a coverage line. That's a very niche
And see, for me, I'm going to still harp on this because I'm not the big fan of James Houston, but opposite of Aiden, you need somebody on there to contain the quarterback because that's always been the Achilles heel. You let the quarterback break containment, and then he rushes on you.
And that is In Football Today.